Hello! Today we are going to learn how to change a cello string. So the string that I'm going to use is this brand. It's called Thomas Stick, and it's going to be our C string, which is the lowest string on the cello. So what I generally like to do is change the end pen height based on the string that I'm going to be changing. So for the A string and the D string, the pegs are on the right side of the cello. So if the cello facing me, it's going to be on my right. Now for that, I like to be standing and face the cello like this. That really helps with moving these. Now when I do the bottom two strings, the C string and the G string, I generally like having the cello like this when I'm tuning it, because then once again, it's easier for just moving these pegs, because they can be a little bit tricky. You have to move them very small increments at a time. So what I'm first going to do though is just remove the string that I have on the cello right now, the C string. So I did the D string and the G string yesterday, so you can hear the cello is a little bit out of tune. Doesn't sound great, but we're going to fix that at the end. So I'm going to start by removing the C string. Now what I do is I look how it's wound in the center here, and I'll attach a photo to the screen of what the winding looks like. I'm gonna unwind it. This might seem a little scary at first because the string's gonna get really, really loose. And if this is your first time doing a string change, don't worry if the string starts getting a little floppy here. You just always wanna be in control of the unwinding. So here I've removed the string. I'm gonna continue unwinding. And you can see I've removed the string. Here it is. So I'm going to put that aside. And now I'm going to take out the new string from the packaging. So my cello looks very sad with its 3 strings. We're going to fix that. So strings have 2 sides to them. The first side has this little bobble. I'll come closer to the camera and show you. It has this little bobble on the end of it. That part will go right here by the fine tuners. And you actually don't have to worry too much about that in the beginning. The first thing you have to do is tuck this into the hole. So if I actually remove the peg altogether, you'll see the peg has these little holes in it. And I'm actually going to use the closest one to me because the string has to be all the way off to the side. So I put that back in. There we go. I'll just face the cello to me so that I can see where that little hole is going to be. Okay. There it is. So I put the string into the little hole. And I probably do, let's see, about 1.5 inches worth of the threaded winding. Because then when I start twisting the peg to start winding the string, then it's nice and even. Now, when you start winding, you want the string to be curving this way. You want the winding to be around it, like that. You see how my hand is? And then if my arm is the string, down like that. So we're going to wind away from ourselves. Now the other thing to watch for is that as you do the winding, that the coils are flat next to each other. We don't want any of them overlapping. So I'm just going to start winding all the way till I run out of the colored winding. So if you look here, there we go. I have the metal part of the string just started going right here. So then I put my thumb down, which really helps, and then I hook that one in there. So now what I like to do is I generally put my knee or my leg right against the bridge right there. So I'll show you on my cello on the chair. I put my knee against the bridge. So then it doesn't really move when I start doing the rest of the winding. I keep winding till it's starting to get a little bit tighter. There we go. So now you can see my cello looks normal now again, but I need to tighten it some more. So what I've been watching for is that the string goes right into the groove of the bridge. Now the C string's quite thick, so it's going to make a really big difference if it slips. It could actually fall off of the bridge if you don't have it in the groove. So just always check that. And we also want it to be in the groove up here. So now that the string is mostly set, I'm just gonna take a pen and I'm gonna move the winding a little bit tighter so I have a little more room. There we go. Now I can really push the peg in while I turn. Okay. So that's the key to moving these pegs. You have to be pushing it into the cello while you're moving. Otherwise it will slip. So let's see where it's at. Really low. Okay, let's keep going. I'm just gonna leave it there for a second because it's slipping. Okay, so it's staying stable now. At that note, way too low, of course. So I'm gonna get it close to the C. So I'm gonna leave it there. Now, if you are just starting the cello, you may not know what a C is supposed to sound like. That's where this app can come in handy. There are several different apps that you can use to tune your cello. I'll put the links to them in the description. The one that I recommend to students is called Guitar Tuna. So let me see if I have that on my phone here. Yes, Guitar Tuna. So when you select the cello, it'll actually tell you move up, move down, and you'll be able to figure out exactly what direction to go. This will give you a lot of confidence when you're tuning your cello. So in a way, this tutorial is not only how to change a string, but it's how to tune your cello, because it really does go together. Okay. Okay, so as I mentioned, Guitar Tuna is fantastic. The other one is Tunable. Tunable is gonna look like this, and you can see there's a line being drawn based on how in tune, basically, I'm talking. So don't worry about that too much for talking. It's fantastic for cello playing. So what I'll do is I'm gonna pluck the C string. You can see how it's gonna change. Let's try that again. So right now it's an A. So it'll tell me it's an A, and it's a very flat A. So I need to go A, B, C, and then I'll be right. B flat. This is where it's really nice to have the cello lower. There's a B, there's a flat C, there's our C. So I'll show you what the Tunable app is showing for me now. So there's our graph. So it's pretty good. Now, cello didn't love the changing of the strings, but that is how you change a string. And then what you do is you go and fine tune. So there is a very specific order that you should change your strings in, because the cello is acoustic. Unlike an electrical guitar or any other instrument that uses electronics, it really adjusts based on humidity, temperature. Any changes, it's a little bit temperamental too. So what I generally do is if I need to change all my strings in a short period of time, I'll change the G and the D, the inner two first. I did this yesterday, and then I do the outer two the next day. And what this does is it just gives the cello some time to adjust. The strings are what keeps the bridge on. So you cannot remove all of them at once. You have to do one at a time. And ideally, you would do one per day at the very most. Now, I'm performing tomorrow, so I want my strings to have some time to adjust, so I'm breaking that rule and going a little bit faster than I normally would. Every now and then, that's fine. So my ideal order would probably be G, D, A, C, or C, A. Any amount works like that. And then frequency of changing strings. That's another question that I often get. So I like to change my strings probably, these ones, it was quite a while. It was like 2 years or so, which was way too long. I wasn't performing a ton, so I didn't see the need to. However, I would generally change it about once a year. If you practice about an hour a day, then definitely you have to change your strings about once a year. And if you have any questions about what strings to use, just pop them in the comments. I'm here to help. But otherwise, I hope you found this tutorial helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, and it was wonderful being with you again today.